Right guys, let's get this started. I'll start off quickly with some local news that's going on around here, then I'll hand over to Tom and Bennett. Another thing that's brought to my attention is the earpieces, music on your phones or radios, and watches now. Be careful of those three, because apparently they're getting at least 2 a week in there for earphones or music, which you don't want to have to deal with those. Keep going with not using the front door, only when needed. Keep doing the rear door. That will change in the future. We're not sure when. From what I've heard, it's going to go to an all-door boarding, but we don't know when, but continue with the rears at the moment. Deadhead on the DCU when coming back to depot, because a lot of people are still signing off at the end of the terminus. So put it on deadhead for when coming back to depot. It's to keep the data accurate on all your times and everything. And we will be getting new radios from mid-September. It's going to take about a month to go in. I'm sure Tom and Bennett might go on more, I'm not sure. Tom, do you have an update on t-shirts at all?
Which t-shirts? One for the ladies?
Yes.
They're coming.
They're ordered.
They're ordered, yep. The t-shirts are ordered.
I've paid for
the
them.
Ladies. Well, paid for. Should be in the mail. But that's it from me.
Pain in the arm.
Nice and quick my side, so I'll hand over to Tom or Bennett, whoever's ready.
Right. Yeah, I'm good. All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I just put around the weekly e-news that'll just sort of help you follow what's been happening. I'll start with our our dispute that's in the commission at the moment, the casual exploitation, the dispute that could end up being worth a lot of money to our casuals, because those of you that has been following it will know that permanent drivers, there's 9 pay progression levels that takes you through to $29.12, whereas casuals are stopped at level 2, which stops them a couple of dollars short of that. We're of a view that that's it's not just unfair, that it's illegal, and we want the commission to take the clause out of the EBA. Commissioner asked us the other day to provide an alternative clause, which I've just had drafted up by our new industrial officer. I'll have a look at it before we put it in next week. Council will then have a week to respond to that. And if indeed it ends up going to a full bench hearing, that the initial meeting is set down for the 19th of July. So the initial full bench hearing is set down for then. We won't get a decision then, because when the full bench sits, they will sit for a whole week. And but progress is in play, and hopefully we will get to the end of that. We will then get into our EBA. We'll get our negotiated pay rises, and we will get the next EBA on the table after that. So that's where we're at, and hopefully our casuals will be getting paid correctly. If that's the decision that we're pushing for, and it's a decision that we're hoping for. Same job, same pay. How simple can that be? How simple can that be? And what it means is, okay, when somebody comes on the job, they're at level 1, that's fine. Everybody's at level 1 after a certain period of time. Level 2, certain period of time, level 3. Whether they're casual or whether they're full-time. When they've got the hours up, they go to the next level. That's it's not rocket science. All right, I'd like to thank everybody that came to the Labor Day March. Once again, we had, how's that, Andrew, was I too close? I nearly knocked it over.
I think you're all right.
Once again, we had one of the biggest contingents, and and it showed. We were there and we were seen. This year we asked everybody to wear their old t-shirts, and we had t-shirts going back 20 years. We gave the prize to a guy from Carina, Bernie, who had a T-shirt from about 1994, and it was when we were the Public Transport Union. So Bernie won a new T-shirt, one of the new T-shirts. Here I go, off camera again. That we have every year. And yeah, he was very happy with that. Now, what's happening with the driver screens? You may or you may not have heard or seen in the media that 4 electric buses have arrived from China. And I don't agree with them getting made in China, and I'm sure that you don't, when we've got a place down the Gold Coast that's already making them for TransLink. But 2 of these buses will have a new generation screen in them. That is a full screen, and this will be here, they'll be there on trial for us to have a good look at before the next generation of buses comes out off the production line. They will have a full screen in them, and that will mean it will have to come up to our specifications that we have laid down and have been agreed to by our bus design and security committee. So they're over, I don't know if they're at Toowong yet, but they might be at Yutong's workshops at Virginia. There was a big thing on the news about it, people not happy about them coming from China, you know. We've got our Prime Minister and our Defense Minister preparing us for war with China. And here we've got business as usual in City Hall, you know. Crazy. Now, traineeships. Who's got a traineeship on the last thing? Good on you, mate. Traineeships are coming, and they will keep coming. And the reason for that is Brisbane City Council is so short of drivers. Yous are probably well aware of that by now. Yous will probably have 10 or 11 new drivers coming here from Southwestern, as well as other places, as well as off the street. The school will open up here again for inductions. But they're finally listening to reason that casualisation is not the way to go. And the reason being is when you're in a situation like this where you're so short of drivers, you can compel trainees and permanents to work. They must do their 38 hours, and usually they want overtime. But you can't compel casuals to work, you know. A lot of those casuals that they have, well over 100, have got very limited availability. And if they're ringing them up now and asking them to come to work and they're saying no, there's nothing they can do. There is nothing they can do. So they're finding out the hard way that a casual is not always best. The best thing to be offering people is a full-time permanent job with a guaranteed number of work hours, you know. There is no acceptable alternative to people, you know, unless, of course, you're nearing retirement. We have situations where we have casuals that are in their 60s and in their 70s. They've worked somewhere all their life, they've got a payout, and now they're working for pocket money. That's fine. But most of our casuals, like old mate over here that went in for a traineeship, most of our casuals want that certainty. They want that permanency, they want that security. And that's what we're pushing for. I understand that the work that we're doing, Council is under enormous pressure to reduce their number of casuals. And that will mean to increase their number of trainees. You know. That doesn't mean reduce their number of drivers, because the work is just getting more and more and more. As you know, we've got the 109s, we've got the ferry services, we've got the work from over here, Southwestern, and then we've got Metro coming as well. It's more work rather than less. And so the idea, as I've been saying for years, offer these guys, offer the casuals that you've got, the casuals that have been here for 4 and 5 years, don't offer them a traineeship, offer them permanency, wipe the traineeship. Of course, that's a bit too far advanced for them at the moment. We might have to bash them into submission on that one. Okay. Now, you might have seen me in my last couple of e-newses or emails ask you if you've got a will in place. Not a good idea to pass and leave a big mess for your loved ones behind you. It's not going to bother you because you're not going to be here, but it's going to be a nightmare for them. So as an RTBU member, sorry, I'm going off camera again. Through our solicitors, Morris Blackburn, we have a free will kit. This is the physical application that's there in the union office for anybody. But there's a little button on the e-news that all you've got to do is press it, and it will take you into the will kit application form. It also tells you information that the will kit, a single will kit is worth $399, and a married or a double will kit is worth $599. That's for non-RTBU members. For RTBU members, it is a free service, and it's good. Get the benefit from your membership. Tony, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was. With this free will kit, when I read that on the board, it seemed to me that Morris Blackburn were going to draw a will for members. I thought, oh, that's a good idea. A free will kit is totally different. A will kit tells you how you draw your own will. As a solicitor, I know that we would often have people who've drawn their own wills, that it was a cock-up. Oh, I used the will kit. They used the will kit. It's wrong.
Well, what I understand, are you done? Are you done? What I understand is Morris Blackburn will oversee the drawing up of the will kit. So it will be a legal will, and they will hold it, and they will witness the signatures, and from what I understand, it is not a cock-up. It's a service that we've offered for many, many years, and I'm just saying to our members, it's a good idea to take advantage of it. All right?
That's the only point I make for your benefit,
Yeah.
that it's not a free will kit. If they're going to supervise the will and say, yes, this is good, we'll witness it, we'll make sure this is a legal will, that's fine, but that's not what a will kit is. So what's being advertised here is different from what was there. I'm just making that point.
Well, thanks for making your point, but I don't necessarily agree with that. Morris Blackburn are reputable solicitors, and they certainly wouldn't mislead our members.
Okay, so that, I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk over you. That leads to the next point. If anyone goes along who has the free will kit, and suddenly they have a sneaky little bill from Morris Blackburn for doing this, that, or the other, refuse to pay.
Send it to me.
To the union.
Send it to me. Absolutely.
Do not pay Morris Blackburn a cent.
Absolutely.
Do not pay these greedy lawyers money.
All right. Morris Blackburn will not charge you without telling you that it will draw a charge. You're very misleading to these people, Tony, saying that Morris Blackburn will do something for you, saying it's free, and then send you a bill. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, you're misconstruing absolutely from what I've said, which is most unfair. What I said was, make sure that they are not going to charge you a fee for overseeing the will. That's what I said, Tom.
All right. That's what you said. And I've said what I've said.
Because that's what lawyers do. It's not the same.
Well, you would know. You're a lawyer.
Right, and that's why I'm not going to allow your union to see your members
No.
into being sunk in.
Now, Tony, I refute what you're saying. You're saying that I'm standing here deceiving these members. That is not the case. That is not the case. But anyway, thanks. Hearing loss. Hearing loss. Our solicitors, Morris Blackburn, will fix, not fix your hearing loss, but they will get you compensation for your hearing loss. And this is a service that they've offered for many, many years as well to our members. Not a free service and not advertised as a free service, but certainly well worthwhile. Certainly to our older members, anybody who's driven a butter box, who knows what a butter box is? Very noisy, very, and I'll explain to you what happens, and I'll explain to you why it's more important now than it's ever been. Up until last year, we were probably getting offers of $3,000 to $5,000 for our members. Not bad, but Morris Blackburn takes a cut of that, a couple of grand, as is advertised. It's not a sneaky bill. And so it was ha-ha, members were leaving it. But last year we had a breakthrough. For the first time, butter boxes were brought into the equation. And what happened was the compensation went through the roof. Drivers with that experience, the experience of driving butter boxes and things like that, were getting offers 3 times the much as they were getting, you know. So they were getting between $15,000 and $20,000. No need to stop driving, no need for anything. You just you accept the offer, pay Morris Blackburn their percentage, and continue to drive. 3 years later, you're able to do it the same. What I'm saying to people is do not retire from the job without putting something in. Do not retire from this job without doing it, because it is well worthwhile. What will happen is you give your name to me, I will put a referral through. They will set up an appointment with an audiologist, which is basically a specialist. There is a fee for that, but I believe you can reclaim it on Medicare or through our RT Health, whatever you're covered by. So, and then they will determine the percentage of your hearing loss. I'll just tell you one guy that I'm dealing with at the moment from Toowong, who had a different reading on either ear, which wasn't quite good, because it sort of, what it does was it cancelled each other out, even though he had 13 or 14% on this ear. If that had followed through onto that ear, that would have been quite, that would have been $14,000 or $15,000, but the other ear was only 6%. So it worked against him. He's still got an offer, and he's still considering it. What he's considering is either taking it or leaving it for 3 years and maybe doubling it. But as I said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Better to be walking out that gate with an extra $10,000, $15,000 or $20,000 in your pocket than nothing, you know. Okay. As I said, more work you're getting, more drivers you're getting here. I was over there the other day talking to the Southwestern drivers. There's probably 11 of them. There's 15 of them. Probably 11 of them have put in. There's every chance that they'll get that, and there's every chance that they'll be here. These guys are, they're quite bitter about the whole thing. Obviously, some of them have worked here for 20 years, you know, never any help or anything from council. All of a sudden, what council done was they tore up the contract and annexed the buses, took their buses back. And what these guys will get, they'll get made redundant on the 1st of July. They have to stay with Southwestern to the 1st of July. They can't jump ship. They can't get another job and jump ship, because they will lose their redundancy payment. So the deal that we made with them, they'll work with Southwestern right up to the end, then they'll start with council on the 5th of July, which is 4 days later, which means that they will be probably in the school here, because the school there will be open by June. As I said earlier, traineeships and traineeships are right, left, and center. If you ever wanted one, or if you know somebody that ever wanted one, now is the time to put their hand up, because this year there'll be a record number of traineeships. Now, I'm not qualified to give tax advice, but I'm just going to tell you what I know. that in the budget the government extended the tax offset. So most of you will fall into the 1,080 category. But what to remember is that last year you only got 9 months of that. So this year you'll get 15 months. So you should get between $1,400 and $1,500. Just remember that. I'm sure if you take your tax to a taxpayer guy, it won't be lost on him. The other thing, which is good news for our casuals and our trainees, is that on the 1st of July, of course, the superannuation guarantee will go up from 9.5% to 10%, which is good for them because they only get the 9.5%. As permanents, of course, get 14%, plus they add 5% of their own. I understand council has no plans to change the superannuation arrangements for the permanents. But just remember, this time next year we'll be starting EBA discussions again. And with the government now seemingly committed to 0.5% every year till it reaches 12%, we really need to revisit that 5 and 5 arrangement. Did you have your hand up, mate? Yep. Yep. Well, you should get 9.5. You should get 9.5. Yeah, and you should. Don't they get the make-up cash? Do you get extra pay? Yeah. 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 You get that in your pay, and that's simply because most superannuation schemes peter out at that age. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure how it'll work for you, but I know that I speak to a lot of the guys over 70 and they're happy to get that in their hand, you know. And it probably is, but I have had no complaints from 70-year-olds. Superannuation is something that, you know, if you're in your 30s and your 40s now, it's time to be concerned about it. You know, if you're in your 70s and you would have come through that, you would have half your life without any superannuation, I would imagine. Yeah, yeah. So you know, that's why you're still working when you're 70. I'm going to still be standing here when I'm bloody 70, mate. If I can still stand here, you know, if I get re-elected. Yeah, in a wheelchair. Yep. All right, another thing to talk about, which has been in the headlines lately, is our on-road toilets. They are a disgrace. They are rank. I'm not sure Fairfield Gardens has been mentioned. And I will just give you an example. I mean, look at this is a $128 million depot now. Probably only worth about 80 million, but you know, what's 50 million between friends? The toilets in there, spotless. Half the time you're in there, there's somebody else in there spraying. But most of you guys would do the toilet more outside than inside. What's Fairfield Gardens like? You know, they're pretty pathetic. Now, council's come back strong, and in words anyway, says they've got a top 10 priority list, and they're going to fix them up. Who's on it? Just tell me if any of your toilets are on this. Carilpa Street. No, you don't do that. Apollo Road, Balmoral, Quinlan Street, Brackenridge. No, Castledine Station, Pinkenba, Fairfield Gardens, Mountford Street, New Farm. Anywhere else I might add to this? St. Lucia. Yeah.
Quite useless. But try this come along, rip the paper. Oh, rip it up there. Oh, well, that's the next person's problem. I've popped it up. I'm not going to fix it for anyone. Use the thing properly. Paper towels out here, filth on the floor, rubbish. No wonder we're in a virus. Fix it up. Put your rubbish in.
You're talking about here?
Yeah.
Right, these toilets are spotless.
Oh no, you should come in an afternoon or of an evening. It's
Yeah?
disgusting.
Oh, depot.
And that's the drivers. It's not the bus drivers, the bloody drivers.
What time does the cleaner get here? 7:30, yeah, there'll be a mess by then. Barry?
Mate, you're saying here that you're appalled. I'm appalled too by my fellow drivers. They're the ones that's causing all the problems. You walk into these on-site, on-road facilities, you've got to walk around the urine on the floor. The council didn't fucking cause that.
I'll tell you what causes that.
When you use the toilet, there's always a brush provided. You might even have to brush the seat to use. Then you wash your hands and you'll put it in a container that's in every one of these toilets, but you have a look around, they're too lazy, it's all over the floor. Then you're stating about the smell of the toilet.
Absolutely.
What does the big sign say? And you walk into every toilet, it says lower the lid so chemicals can do their work.
Sure.
Walk into every one with the lid, it's up.
So you, how much time do you reckon a driver would need to follow all them instructions? I think he's got 4 minutes on a piece of paper and generally running late. So he doesn't have the time. No, that wasn't me that said that, Barry. And then, well, thanks for that, but I don't. I think that our toilets need to be fixed up. And I think that our running times need to be fixed up. So as those that we can do the toilet.
Not one part of your body touches those screws because the lid goes down on it. But wouldn't you rust too if you're covered in urine all day? I'm sure you would.
Well, what's the cleaners doing? What's the cleaners doing?
Hey, I've been in there when they've cleaned and stopped.
Yeah.
Go back in there later after
Yeah. All right. All right, I've got your view, Barry. I don't agree with it. I think that you're blaming your workmates for something that's not their fault. It's not their fault.
Who urinates on the floor? Who puts the pieces on the seat? Is that the cleaner? He's there to clean it up, but he can't keep it. Who puts all the paper over? Who leaves the toilet seat up?
All right. Yep. I'm listening to you, but I can't believe it. You know, I cannot believe it. Yeah.
You need to go to all the toilets. They smell like piss. And you can go in after a guy and the floor will be
Yeah.
wet. And I
Yep.
shouldn't have to
I know all those
That's
things.
not the cleaner's responsibility to make sure that people can pee properly. They can
But-
clean it up after it's done, but there's no one to be able to be there after every single driver's been to the toilet. Drivers
All
need
right.
to pee.
Yeah. That's because the drivers haven't got the time.
I just don't think people care. It's not theirs. You know, they don't have to clean it up. They don't. I just think it's fucking.
Yep, I know all about personal hygiene, mate. Yeah. And I drove a bus for 30 years. I drove a bus for 30 years. I know how difficult it is to get the time to do the toilet. And I don't think I sold anybody out because I didn't give that information about wetting them pants. That was come from an actual driver. How would I know that information? So, eh? I do. All right.
I clean up the film
Yep.
every time I go in because I don't want someone to see me come out and think Malone left that film in that toilet. I don't do that. I've got some self-esteem.
Yeah, good.
Is it any wonder, Tom, that the private sector are kicking us out of their toilets? Yes. Any wonder? Down here at the PR.
Yeah, look, I know what's happened. Look, yeah. Eh? All right, I'm hearing you. That's the first time I've heard that. That it's, no, absolutely. What I hear is get the cleaning fixed and get the timings fixed so that the drivers have got the time to go to the toilet. That's what I'm hearing. And get the chemical toilets upgraded as well. So none of you have mentioned that. that these are old, they're rusty, they're rust buckets. And none of you have mentioned that. That's not the drivers that are doing that. That's council giving us substandard toilets. And that's at the crux of the problem, Barry. Substandard toilets. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. No. I'm looking at the toilets in here. When I go to the toilet in here, they're brand new.
Go to Garden City. Go to Garden
Yeah,
City.
I go to Garden
Go
City.
to, and I know this is busways, but 8 Mile Plains. As soon as they unlock that toilet, no offense guys, to the males, us females now have to stand in piss. When it wasn't there, that was clean.
Well, you shouldn't have to. Females should have their own toilets.
Put it back on and leave the lock on there and not these guys.
Absolutely. Well, that's what
Wait either way.
we're campaigning for.
So females, they should go back to having the two toilets everywhere. But the cleaners aren't Garden City.
I agree.
How is that? That's two separate toilets.
I agree with you. You're not talking about Garden City Depot. You're talking about Garden City.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about the interchange where we get to use that toilet. These guys, I'm not sure about anyone else, but because there's no gap, there's a gap at the top. So the females have got a separate toilet, but we can smell the piss that is in that men's toilet. And I feel sorry for any of these guys that actually have to go in after someone who has it. A lot of them won't use our facilities because people can't pee properly. Are you all 2-year-olds? Sit down if you can't hold it. Plain and simple. That's coming from my mother. Sit down if you don't want to hold it. And then there won't be pee on the floor. Plain and simple. And then the cleaners won't have to clean it up. That solves both problems.
All right.
Comes out there, it's don't waste your time getting the council to do something that they can do nothing about, which is the driver.
No, Tony, they can put in proper toilets. They can put in, and they can renew those toilets so that they're clean and new. Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah.
Drivers won't use it. If you go into the toilets now, I'll bet you'll find feces sitting on the side of the bloody toilet bowl. And there'll be brushes there. Go and have a look. It's there. Don't deny that it's maybe 5 o'clock in the morning to see how much rubbish is going on.
Barry, as I said, I was a bus driver for 30 years. I would turn up at Virginia at 5 o'clock every morning. And I know what you're talking about because the cleaner's not there yet. So what time do you want the cleaner here? Well, Barry, I go to when I go to Brisbane Square, and I go to the toilet there. There's somebody follows you around spraying the toilet. There's somebody there 24/7, and you see them here too, spraying. They're here all day. So you tell me what you want. You tell me what you want then. Can I do that? I'm listening. I'm standing here now. I'm listening to you. You're saying that it's a problem with the culture of the drivers. Yeah. And I'm saying that they're telling me it's because they don't have the time. And that's what's happening. They're doing the toilet on the run. Well, I say to people, you take the time. But they're under pressure, they're getting called in. All right, well, maybe I'll have to stand corrected. But that's not what the guys have been saying to me. Hey? Well, unfortunately, there's 4 minutes in the EBA, and there's nobody anywhere has toilet time. What you do, the culture that we should be doing is that you just take the time. You take the time to pee in the toilet. You take the time to clean it. You take the time to use the brush. And then you run late.
I thought that was a given.
Yeah?
I thought that's
Yeah, you thought it was a given. You thought it was a given. I think it's a given. Because it's what I would do. It's what I've done for 30 years. All right, you's done with me? He's done with me, thanks. I am. I just not in a position to attack my own members on it. Sorry, Tony? Yeah. Yeah, no, but there's not that many that's not members. But I'll take it on board. I will take it on board. Okay, as we said earlier, the women's T-shirts are on their way. Totally Workwear's got that contract, and they're coming. All right, that's all I've got for the depot. Anyway, guys, thanks for that. Thanks for your feedback. Thanks for your time.